Alright, ladies and gentlemen, this is Mr. Velocity. Sorry if the recording of my voice isn't that great. I'm kind of using my built-in microphone. Alright, so I've been seeing a lot of complaints about how this game is really bad because the helicopter controls are bad, but it's not because the helicopter controls are bad, it's because they're more real. In other video games, you can pitch the helicopter all the way forward and somehow not crash at low altitude and spin the helicopter in a circle whenever you want at whatever speed. And in real life, you just can't do that. Now, there's four controls on the helicopter. There's the control that controls the pitch of the helicopter, which is forward, back, left, and right. And then there's the rotor control, which controls the helicopter's spin, kind of like a rudder on an airplane. And then there's the throttle and the control that allows the helicopter to go up and down. Now, you have to control four of these at the same time, simultaneously, in a smooth fashion in order to get the helicopter to do what you want it to do. Now, this game has been kind enough to combine the up and down motion of the helicopter with the throttle, so you don't really have to worry about that control. It's been kind of merged, so you only have to deal with three of them. I just want to go over a few things about how helicopters work that people don't generally know. First one being that the helicopter is actually hanging under the rotor blades, so the rotor blades can pitch in any direction on their own, which means that the helicopter doesn't have to pitch all the way forward or all the way back or side to side to actually get it to move. The blades will actually do that for you in a regular situation. Now, a good example of this is if you see a helicopter fly by you that's level, the reason it's level is because the blades are pitched forward. Now, the only time you'll actually see a helicopter pitch forward like so is when it's trying to do a rapid acceleration of some sort to, get away from something or whatnot. But other than that, you don't really need to. That's not something that needs to be done. Just pitching the blades alone will get the helicopter to go forward. You just the helicopter will tilt forward a little bit, but the blades are pitched forward, and you just kind of give a little throttle, and then the helicopter starts moving. It's not a fast acceleration, but it's an even, smooth one, which is, what you generally do when you're flying in civilian air or something like that, and not in combat. Now, it's a few things. There's two different ways helicopters fly. They fly like you see them fly in the movies, which is what I'm doing right now. I'm flying around in a circle and just kind of moving around, doing what I want, flying in my own way in three-dimensional space. I can do this, etc., hovering, blah, blah, blah. That's one way a helicopter flies. Now, that's the way you normally see it in most arcadey helicopter games. You'll fly around and you're spinning around and you just kind of spin the helicopter like this, real easily. Now, in other helicopter games, you can actually get the helicopter going real fast, like in Battlefield, and then turn it and shoot. Well, since this is more of a simulator helicopter game, that doesn't exist in real life because you got to think of it like driving at 160 miles per hour. You're not just going to be able to go sideways, without losing control. There's air moving past the helicopter because at this speed, the rotor blades go from pushing air down to moving air through them like a giant airfoil, kind of like a wing. Right, so then the helicopter is more like an airplane now. You tilt left and then you pull back and the helicopter turns. Right, granted this does slow you down, so it's better to be more, half tilted with some rudder action, and that will generally get you where you want to go without losing too much speed. Now this whole I want to turn sideways and fire, as you can see the helicopter doesn't want to do it because wind is not letting it. And doing this in real life is actually a great way to crash. But since this is a game, they do cut you some slack. It's not a full-on simulator. Those are a few things that will keep you from, getting frustrated with the game. So if you want to do strafe runs, you got to slow it down. You got to slow it real down. I think the fastest I've been able to do a strafe run is maybe not even 90, I'd say 80 miles per hour. But that's even pushing it. And then when I'm doing that, I'm still slowing down. Like right now, I'm slowing down so I can kind of set myself up, maybe strafe this mountain or something like that. And when you do these maneuvers, right, you got to add throttle. You can't just, turn the helicopter and expect it to go somewhere, because right now I'm not giving it any throttle. We're just spinning around in a circle and we're falling. As you can see, I almost whacked the ocean right there. So be sure to maintain high amounts of throttle when under heavy maneuvers. But when you're flying straight and you're not doing anything too extreme, you can actually let off the throttle and the helicopter will just cruise forward. You can see in the upper left corner the percentage is the torque on the rotors, and you see it's going down. But we're actually still increasing speed because we're just the rotor blade spinning around in a circle is actually pushing us forward, believe it or not. So you don't really need to give it power to go forward. You need to give it power when you do it maneuvers, right? And you have to obviously slow down in order to do them. Another big one is pointing the helicopter up when you do some of these maneuvers, especially the big turns when you're coming down low like this, right? It's not a jet. You can't just bank hard to the right. You have to point the helicopter up or else you will crash. It's just, I mean, like, Jesus Christ, I'm getting close to the ground or the water. But yeah, so that's my basic tutorial on how to run a helicopter in this game. You really need to figure out how it can just kind of get used to the controls. This is on realistic mode. You can put it on training, which keeps you from crashing, but it's not as fun. You can't do some of these extreme maneuvers. But this is just my basic tutorial on this. If you have any questions, just put them in the chat. I'm, not super informed on how helicopters work, so I'm sure I've missed a number of things. If anybody has more information and wish to post it in the chat, please do so. Thank you for watching. I will come out with a video on how to do the second to last mission the easiest, seeing as it's the biggest pain in the butt. Talk to you guys later.